Since 2014, the revolutionary force in retro entertainment. Hey guys, Retro here. Today I'm going to review this old WWF magazine from January of 1998. So we can see it has Shawn Michaels and Triple H on the cover. Of course, they're DX, as you probably know. And let's take a look here. It says, "Where the bleep are we going? 1998 predictions." And there's Shawn Michaels doing his classic double bicep pose with the stretched out leg there, and he's got the fireworks. That's the noise it made. And then you have Triple H there, and it says, "DX, you make the rules, we'll break them." So there you go. There's the cover. Of course, this is the Attitude Era. Very fun, exciting time in professional wrestling. So let's crack it open and feast on the goo inside. Okay, we'll slide that over. There's some interesting tidbits that I found in here that you might find interesting. So we start off here on this side with a special collector's issue of WWF Magazine. So they had a double cover, two versions with two different covers, one featuring Sable and one featuring Sunny. So this was like a swimsuit issue, I guess. This is a real swimsuit issue. It says choose your cover, Sable or Sunny. And it says, hell, why not just get them both? It's a pretty smart way to get guys to buy both versions. And then there's something, it's like, look for it on newsstands December 30, and if you don't find it, ask your newsstand to get with it. Tell them you want it raw. That's kind of gross sounding, but yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna feel comfortable going up to the newsstand and being like, can I have the WWF swimsuit edition? But anyways, but it's interesting because I wonder which cover sold more, because I know how competitive people are in the WWF, and and Sable and Sunny were pretty competitive, so I wonder if that caused any contention between them, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so that's that. Okay, we'll look at the contents here, and it says, just as a bit, okay, there we go. So, and the winner is the writers hand out the year-end awards. The generation next, will more superstars join the elite? Okay, so this is interesting because the editor of the magazine is Vince Russo, who of course went on to become the head writer for a while. But it's interesting because, well, you may not know, but Jim Cornette has a big feud, big beef with Vince Russo. And on his podcast, he mentioned one time he had this list of ideas that Vince Russo had written and brought into a meeting, just of ideas for what they can do with the different wrestlers. And before DX was a thing, he was like, oh, there should be a group called the Elite with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, a few other guys. But it's just interesting that, so he was basically describing DX, but he called them the Elite. So it's interesting that he has elite there in quotation marks, so that's just an interesting tidbit that I found. Okay, so who rules the road? One night of pure hell, looking into the crystal ball, emerging from the shadows, and under the mask, and beneath the skin, part 2. Sounds like a Megadeth album. Okay. Here we have some letters to the editor, again being Vince Russo, and there's one I want to point out here. Look at this one, I'll read this one. Dear editor, since when does Vader need any fans? The guy has won 12 world titles in other promotions, so there's no need for him to turn to anything. If it wasn't for the World Wrestling Federation officials making him fight guys like Flash Funk and Tiger Ali, saying maybe Vader would have the titles he deserves. I do think he needs a manager again. I do think he needs a manager again to get him in the right direction. SummerSlam 96. And of course, well, not of course, but his Vince Russo's response is kind of interesting. He says, due to James E's newfound role as the Andy Rooney of the World Wrestling Federation, I don't believe the colorblind manager will be getting back into anyone's corner anytime soon. So it's kind of interesting. It's like, was he like kind of making fun of him? Like, obviously he was making fun of him, but was it because they didn't like each other, or was that just, a lighthearted joke or whatever? Kind of interesting. I think the colorblind refers to the fact that he wore the, colorful suits at the time. And the Andy Rooney thing, I think, is a reference to how Jim Cornette was doing that thing where he would do like this little shoot style backstage promo thing, kind of like, it really grind my gears type thing. So, I don't know, I found that interesting. Anyways, and then he just goes on to say something about Vader. But anyways, that wasn't the point. The Jim Cornette thing was the interesting thing to me. And then we have Bret Hart here. Somebody drew Bret Hart being a crybaby, because that's what people called him at the time, because he was whining about this, that, and the other. Okay, Tales from the Turnbuckle. Signed, sealed, and the future. Signed, sealed, and the future. That's kind of a weird headline, but anyway. There's Vince McMahon, and I guess they had just signed Taka Michinoku. It's a good trigger word. But yeah, he had a lot of good matches, but yeah, I guess WWF never took the lightweight division that seriously, so he was limited. But anyways, okay. There's just some article about Jeff Jarrett, because when Jeff Jarrett came back and he did some shoot style, even they put it in quotes, promo. I remember that. Was never a big fan of Jeff Jarrett. Just could never get into his style. Nothing against him personally. I don't know. I never got any of his characters. It says remembering Brian. It's a little thing about Brian Pillman, because he had recently passed away, sadly. There's more about him later on in the issue, but I remember when that happened. Very sad. Degeneration X's top 5 New Year's resolutions. Make it a point to attract more attention to the source of their brain power. 2. Go back and watch all the Beavis and Butthead episodes they missed for new material. 3. Find a way to sneak the phrase I triple dog dare you into an interview. Help Michael Cole pull the Calvin Kleins out of his lower intestine. And buy Hunter a new I'm with Meal Ticket t-shirt. Well, that's pretty harsh, bro. Okay, what do we got here? Blah, blah, blah. Just something about NASCAR. You got Taker there standing beside a NASCAR for some reason. Quote of the month. Vince, you can take with my baby tonight and stick it up your butt. That was from Jeff Jarrett. That's the promo I was referring to earlier. Okay, here is a article. Okay, Rookies to Legends. So this is about the minis. So they did a thing for a while where they brought in wrestlers from Mexico that were little people, and they called them the minis, and that was Max Mini. I think his name is Torito or something like that. Yeah, Torito. And anyways, so that was a thing for a while, and here we see Max Mini doing something off the top rope or one of the ropes. Maybe he's gonna do a Hurricane Runner or something like that. So it looks really cool, cool move. But the thing that interested me more in this picture, thing that I find funny, is these 3 shirtless amigos in the audience here. It's like, wear your shirts, bro. No shirt, no shoes, no service. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, and then we have a GamePro magazine advertisement here, which is cool because I reviewed a lot of GamePro magazines. Fortunately, I don't have any more, but those were good times. So I could have got a subscription for free and got 2 free issues, risk-free. I don't know why they would point that out. Like, that's not what's coming to my mind when I'm gonna order a magazine. Like, oh, I gotta think of the risks. But anyway. Okay. Yeah, he was sort of the tribute, I guess, to Brian Pillman. Very sad. I remember when he passed away, but what can you do? That's a really cool picture. That's when he was in the Heart Foundation, and he had a broken leg or whatever it was, and he used a crutch. He was pretending it was like a gun or whatever. Cool picture. I remember the first time I saw, what's his name? Kenny Omega. I thought he looked like Brian Pillman. I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks that, but there's some similarities there. Okay, it's a cool double-page ad spread of Duke Nukem. He's coming to get some. So this was the N64 version, which I think was a port of the PC version. Oh, and it's for the PlayStation. But it looks like, at least in the screenshot, that the enemies are polygonal. So I don't remember ever playing it, but maybe I should. I don't know. Okay, this is interesting. 1997 year-end awards. The staff picks the best of the best. Now, so this is 1997's best by Vince Russo, and Wrestler of the Year Bret Hitman Hart. Now this is from January. This issue is from January 1998. But like I said, they're a few months behind, so I guess they wrote this and printed it before Bret Hart left the Total Montreal Screwjob, which I believe was in November of 1997. So it's kind of interesting that a lot of the staff picked Bret Hart as the Wrestler of the Year. Very, very interesting. Let's see what he says. Excuse me, but he is the World Wrestling Federation champ. Of course, he wasn't at the time. He wasn't even in the company. I mean, at the time they wrote it, he was, obviously. In my opinion, Bret Hart just gets better with age. To date, he is still the best technician and strategist to ever grace the squared circle, even though many would say that Bret Hart may have slowed down a step or two in it just flat doesn't matter. The Hitman's game was never speed, therefore his wheels don't need to burn rubber. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. You're damn right. So kind of interesting. Rookie of the Year, Brian Christopher. Most Improved Wrestler of the Year, Shawn Michaels. I'm like, really? I mean, he was pretty much at the top of his game at that point, but whatever. Comeback Wrestler of the Year, Bret Hitman Hart. Most Underrated Wrestler of the Year, Owen Hart. Okay. So then we get 1990. So this is Kevin Kelly's picks. Once again, he picks Bret Hart for the Wrestler of the Year. Rookie of the Year, Rocky Maivia. That makes sense. Let's read that. Perhaps this category was the most competitive, with many sensational newcomers gracing the Federation's rosters this year. No other rookie has made the impact that this third-generation superstar made in 1997, highlighted by a meteoric rise to the Intercontinental Championship. Each time this former Miami Hurricane hears the obnoxious Rocky Sucks chants, it only makes him stronger and more determined. The best is certainly yet to come for the gifted athlete, but more important to Rocky, he will earn respect by any means necessary. So he got it right about the best is yet to come, but I don't think he had any idea how massive he would become. Most Improved Wrestler of the Year, Ken Shamrock. Comeback Wrestler of the Year, Triple H. Most Underrated Wrestler of the Year, Brian Christopher. They're giving a lot of love to Brian Christopher. Okay, so this is Keith Elliott Greenberg's picks. I don't know what that is, but he also picks Bret for Wrestler of the Year. Comeback of the Year, Legion of Doom. Really, I don't think their comeback was very good. Rookie of the Year, China. I can see that. I mean, I don't know if she was wrestling by this point yet, but she definitely made an impact. That's for sure. Most Improved Wrestler of the Year, Crush. I don't know. I mean, I know who he is, but Most Underrated Wrestler of the Year, Max Mini. And then we have same thing by Billy Banks. He's a staff writer. Wrestler of the Year, Stone Cold. Let's finally see some Stone Cold in this magazine. Holy hell. I know, like, 1998 was more of his year, but he was already, like, super over by this point. Rookies of the Year, the Headbangers. Sure. I mean, I was never really into the Headbangers. Were they rookies in 1997? I guess so, but anyways, can never really get into them. Most Improved Wrestler of the Year, Triple H. Comeback of the Year, once again, Legion of Doom. And Most Underrated Wrestler, Farouk. And then one more here is by John Frodo, I don't know. Wrestler of the Year, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Makes sense. Most Improved Wrestlers of the Year, Doug Furnace and Philip LaFon. Comeback of the Year, once again, Legion of Doom. Rookie of the Year, Dude Love. I mean, come on, that doesn't count as a rookie. But okay, fine, I can see where they're going with that. And Underrated Wrestler of the Year, D'Lo Brown. Okay, then we get this ad for merch featuring Stone Cold, and it says, "You've either got it or you don't." Well, I hope Stone Cold has some pants on there, because it looks like he's, a little, looks like his tone might be a little cold, if you know what I'm saying. But no, seriously, you should be wearing some of the merch that they're trying to sell, you know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing. Oh, I have this album, WWF music album. Okay, this is Whose Privilege Will It Be? D-Generation X looking for recruits. And it's interesting here because it also says something about elites. The elite few to be selected must be ready, willing, and able to blah 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 blah. So once again, Russo's using the elite word to describe DX. And I remember these days, these were pretty fun times. They're pretty silly when you look back on it, but I don't know, it felt organic and natural for these Triple H and Shawn Michaels to be doing these silly things. But here it looks like they're posing like the Rockers. Here they're eating bananas. And here you got Shawn Michaels with the flag up his nose. This was obviously during the Canadian-US stuff feud with the Hart Foundation and whatnot. And this was probably in Canada, so he probably got a lot of crowd heat for that. Which, being Canadian myself, I found that funny when he did that. Even though I love the Hart Foundation and Bret Hart and Canada, but I was just trying to think if the opposite happened, if someone in the Hart Foundation in the States did that to the American flag. Might have started a riot or two. I don't even know if that would be legal in the States. Probably is. Probably protected by free speech or something like that. But anyways, here we go. Just a Karate Fighters ad. Okay. Alright. To all roads lead to annihilation. So you have the, it says, will it be Apocalypse Now for Legion of Doom? So Legion of Doom and the DOA. Or I should say the Michael Likers. It's a good trigger phrase, but yeah, sorry, that was from, what's that? There's a YouTube channel called Wrestling Bios, great YouTube channel for wrestling. But anyways, he's covering every episode of Raw and Nitro, and anyways, one time Ahmed Johnson, I believe, called them the Michael Likers. And nobody really knew what he meant by that, but the Wrestling Bios guy uses that phrase a lot when referring to them, so I was them. But anyways, okay. And this is a review of the Bad Blood pay-per-view, which featured the first ever Hell in a Cell match. Basically they just review the event. Nation of Domination defeated the Legion of Doom. Max Mini defeated whoever he was fighting. The Godwins, which I didn't care for either. Looks like they won the tag team belts from the Headbangers. What happened here? I guess Owen Hart beats Farouk, just based on that picture there, but I don't know. Oh yeah, because Stone Cold interfered. Hits Farouk with the belt, causing Owen Hart to win the IC belt, because I think Stone Cold wanted to win the belt of Owen Hart because he had a match with Owen Hart coming up. That was a mouthful. Okay, and then we have, who cares about these guys? I don't. Bret Hart's beating, Bret Hart and the British Bulldog beating Vader and the Patriot. But this was the match everyone came to see. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, first ever Hell in a Cell, and in my opinion, the best Hell in a Cell to date, by far. Such a good match. They had such a good match in the ring, and then, doing all these crazy moves and stuff, and then, cameraman pretends to be hurt, so then, the storyline, he's supposed to be hurt, so then they open the door to let him out, and then Shawn Michaels escapes, and then Undertaker slingshots him into the ring, or into the cage, and he's busted wide open, and then they go on top of the cage, and the crowd's going nuts, and then he falls off the cage onto the table. Not the same way that Mick Foley did, but it was done really cool. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, that's gotta be Kane. It was the introduction of Kane, and he rips the door right off its hinges, and Tombstone's Taker, and then leaves, and then Shawn Michaels, bloody mess of Shawn Michaels, goes for the pin. So such a good match. The match itself was good, but amazing. But then adding the shock of finally seeing Kane. Really just a perfect Hell in a Cell, in my opinion. But that is just my opinion. Okay, this here is just a 1998 predictions by Vince Russo. And I'm not going to go over all of these. For some of these he's right, for some of them he's wrong. For some of them he's dead wrong, but you get the idea here. Make some predictions about everybody. Our Foundation, he was wrong. Our Foundation was pretty much disappeared. Of course, when Brett left. Stone Cold, Vader, Ken Shamrock, Ahmed Johnson, blah blah blah. Oh, there's something interesting here. We have Mankind, Do Love, Cactus Jack. One will fall in love. One will finally get to meet Marcia Brady. I don't know what that is. And one will be at WrestleMania 14. It's interesting because Mankind in his book says how for WrestleMania 14, Vince Russo's idea was for him to save Sable from Mark Mero's abuse or whatever, and I guess they would have a sort of a love thing going on, and then at WrestleMania 14 he would fight Mark Mero, and then Sable would betray him because it was a swerve all along. So I wonder if that's what he means by Mankind. One will fall in love kind of thing, but we'll see. But then Mankind called Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette called Mankind to tell him that that's what was the plan. And he said, Jim, I don't know if anyone's ever said this before, but can I not be on WrestleMania? Because he didn't like that idea, but he wasn't wrong. This is when Bret Hart was on Mad TV. The first time. Because I think he was on it again. But this was when he was in WCW, and then they did that sort of thing that was supposed to be a shoot, but it wasn't. It was a work where he started beating up people, the cast, or Will Sasso or something like that. But I don't think it was the first time. I could be wrong. I don't know. Yeah, that's a cool picture of Bret Hart, by the way. Okay, anything worth looking at here? of those happenings, so some of the information is definitely dated by the time this came out, but it's still very interesting to look at. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it relaxing.